Salam sejahtera, anda bersama saya Rizal Zulkifli dalam Bisnes Awani Plus dan berikut tajuk utama untuk minggu ini. Menjadikan Proton syarikat berdaya saing. Tahun Naga bawa kemakmuran ekonomi. Dan persiapan menjelang sambutan Tahun Baru Cina. Isu pembelian saham Proton sudah pun selesai apabila pada Isnin lalu Khazanah Nasional mengesahkan DRB Highcom telah berjaya dalam bidaannya untuk memiliki syarikat pengeluar kereta nasional itu. Pada Rabu, DRB Highcom mengadakan taklimat media pertamanya mengenai perancangan untuk membawa Proton ke tahap tertinggi yang kelak akan menjadikan ia satu jenama pilihan bukan sahaja di pasaran tempatan malah antarabangsa. Tanpa mengkhususkan tempoh perancangan yang digariskan itu, Pengarah Urusan Datuk Seri Kamil Jamil memberitahu keutamaan beliau sekarang ialah menjadikan Proton sebagai sebuah syarikat berdaya saing. Dan bersama saya di studio bagi membincangkan mengenainya ialah Armin Banias Pahamin, Presiden Persatuan Pengedar Proton Edah Malaysia, serta Dr. Nazri, Ketua Pendidikan Runcit Affin Investment Bank. Hai, selamat datang ke studio.
Terima kasih.
Okey, pertama sekali mari kita bincangkan tentang kenyataan bahawa pengambil alihan saham Proton oleh DRB Highcom adalah untuk menyuntik modal ataupun kecairan dalam syarikat tersebut untuk menjadikannya sebuah syarikat yang lebih berdaya saing, lebih global menjelang liberalisasi pasaran auto negara ini. Pendapat Amin dulu.
Yang kita semua sedia maklum bahawa Proton punya pelancaran kereta-kereta baru kita, our model line up for the next even couple of years are there and already in plan. So setiap kereta yang kita nak launch ni memerlukan modal yang cukup tinggi, dan kalau kita tanpa modal ni we cannot have a regular launching for all those car. That is why most of the model you see Proton punya model last in the market for 7 hingga 10 tahun. Kalau kita tengok model-model kereta lain, they stay in the market for only 6-7 years before they were replaced. But our car stays in the market for 10 years because number one, to come up with a new replacement car, it takes more capital. Secondly, we don't have the population, the production, that high a production for us to get sufficient return. So kalau kita nak keluarkan model-model kereta baru, kita perlukan lebih banyak lagi modal. Itu pertamanya. Keduanya, kalau kita nak, if we need to penetrate more countries, to bring our cars to more countries, that too require capital. And if my personal opinion as a dealer, on behalf of the sales network, the whole product lineup are very well planned for this year, for the next coming year. But if without sufficient financial support, all the plan would be put to halt.
Dan Dr. Nazri, antara kritikan ataupun antara pemerhatian pakar-pakar ekonomi sebelum pengambil alihan tersebut atau pembelian saham daripada Proton tersebut, Khazanah, antara kritikannya adalah untuk memastikan bahawa pemilik seterusnya mempunyai kecairan yang mencukupi. Betul. Dalam memastikan bahawa mereka boleh menambah membantu Proton to revitalize Proton dan menjadikannya sebuah pengeluar kereta global. Pendapat Dr. Nazri sendiri tentang DRB, adakah mereka ketika ini dalam kedudukan kewangan yang baik setelah apa yang mereka lakukan, exercise korporat yang mereka lakukan sepanjang tahun 2010 dan 2019?
Soalan yang baik, Rizal. Saya merasakan DRB mempunyai financial muscle begitu baik, healthy balance sheet. If you look at the gearing, currently DRB Highcom only have 17% gearing. So I think that is good enough for them to actually inject. We believe there will be a big capex needed by Proton, especially dalam peringkat research and development. Don't forget there's also about 900 million ringgit debts in the Lotus because of the bleeding costs and all that. Yeah, I think the DRB Highcom have a good financial muscle to actually tie up with Proton. I think the bigger question here is that the expertise that DRB can bring here to Proton, because we need to understand DRB has been in this line for many years. They have a better role in the chain, I would say. So if they if they take over Proton, we believe Proton can be a more complete what I call automotive player. Don't forget that the Abiacom also have very good, I would say, global networking, global distribution. They have very good collaboration with a few global OEM. This includes Volkswagen. I think the way we look at as an analyst is that this could be a good prelude, to the entry of Volkswagen again as a major shareholder. Or for Proton, which last time was they have a stalemate between Proton and Volkswagen.
Ini bukan kali pertama DRB memiliki Proton. Sebelum ini DRB pernah memiliki Proton dan melihat kepada perubahan-perubahan dari segi kepimpinan dan juga dari segi pengurusan tersebut. Apakah tekanan kepada Proton EDA sendiri untuk memastikan bahawa kalau ada perubahan pun pastikan bahawa ia selari dengan sasaran Proton EDA sendiri dan juga sasaran Proton dalam masa yang sama boleh mengembalikan syarikat tersebut. Adakah Proton EDA melihat pertukaran terbaru ini sebagai satu cabaran yang besar kepada operasi sendiri?
Well, the dealers, the network have been around with various changes in ownership. Daripada time Highcom kepada DRB Highcom, kemudian Petronas, kemudian Khazanah, now balik pada DRB Highcom. We have been around through various ownership changes and through various management changes. So every time there's a new owner, the management will change as well. So from our experience, we have got our members who have been with us with Proton since Proton's inception in 1984 sampai ke hari ini, and we have got dealers. The average dealers in the market is about 15 years in the market. So the biggest challenges is that when the new owner came in, they will change the management, and new management masuk, they will again change the policy. So there are various, in the past there have been past policy that was reintroduced and some good policy that was replaced with which are left the market, the network bleeding further.
Adakah ini berita yang baik untuk dealer ataupun pengedar sendiri? Adakah
I believe this change in ownership, the Highcom takeover ni is very much for financial support. Direction wise, when it comes to the next vehicle lineup, production wise, I think Proton is doing very, very well. In Proton's history, being in the market for many years, I mean, in those days you pass your name card to people, they see Proton, they get very scared, and they come out in one breath, they can come out with 10 complaints in a breath. Now you pass your name card, they ask you how long does it take to buy this car or that model. So the quality wise, it has received a lot of confidence from the public. So I believe this restructuring is not to change the policy, it is basically to have the financial support semata-mata.
Okey, Dr. Nazri, ada yang menyatakan bahawa jika kerjasama ini diteruskan ataupun selepas pembelian ini, DRB akan cuba untuk memastikan Proton bekerjasama dengan VW pada satu masa nanti, dari segi mungkin pengeluaran ataupun dari segi pengwujudan model baru. Seperti yang dikata Amin tadi itu, ketika ini Proton dari segi kualitinya, teknologinya mungkin lebih banyak improvement ataupun penambahbaikan daripada sebelum ini. Adakah kerjasama tersebut harus dilakukan antara Proton dan VW, dan apakah jenis kerjasama yang dilakukan? Pengeluaran ke, model baru ke, bagaimana?
Kita merasakan ada dua perkara yang paling penting untuk Proton pada masa ini. The first one, definitely we're talking about scale. Scale, we need to understand that so far the export growth of Proton has been flat. So we basically believe that they can leverage actually on Volkswagen to boost their export growth, since Volkswagen has a brand, has all the qualities of the product they need to actually export it outside. Second thing, we believe apart from scale, they also need definitely technologies. In this case, we believe for example, technologies for electricity, hybrid car. This is something that Volkswagen can offer. But of course, to me, what is important right now is the scale. We need to understand that the current capacity of Proton got two plants here. They can produce up to 350,000 cars. At this moment, it's obvious they only produce about 15,000 cars. They only use about 10% of the total capacity. Whereas DRB, we know they have a Pekan plant that's already being overutilized. So I think with Volkswagen here, really it's a win-win situation, not only for Proton, but also for DRB and also for Volkswagen. Of course, the issue right now is definitely the the national car status. The implication after Khazanah, make a clean exit. Because academically we can say Proton is no longer under government ownership. So that can lead to another question whether Proton will be given, protected entity since they are no longer under government ownership. But again, I would say that it's an academic question. And then the last one I would say is national automotive policy. We want to see whether there will be more measures being introduced to favour Proton. Or would there be complete liberalisation in this case, which I think will give an upper hand for global OEM, which can include Volkswagen.
Pendapat Amin sendiri sebagai kita berehat, adakah ini satu langkah yang mungkin dapat dijangkakan? Sebab menurut kata Dr. Nazri tadi tu, ini should be in favour of Proton, ataupun seharusnya memihak pada Proton. Tapi ramai melihat kalau macam Volkswagen ataupun mana-mana OEM lain partner ataupun bersama dengan Proton, mungkin ia akan lebih in favour kepada mereka dari segi pengeluaran dan akses kepada pasaran Asia sendiri. Pendapat Amin?
For export market, yes, I believe the same. I believe that Volkswagen can give the road for Proton to penetrate more market in the future. But dari segi national car status, we also know that national car status ni is more on the local content. So it is less dependent on who owns Proton. Because in those days, Biacom pernah own Proton juga. Tapi dari segi local content tu, in fact, if you look at the current NAP, any manufacturer who gave birth to a car punya blueprint in Malaysia, maknanya bukan kata yang rebatch lagi dekat Jepun ke dekat Europe ke, but any model that is been given birth in Malaysia with a majority of local content will be considered as a national car.
Okey. Dan kita akan beri berehat seketika. Sebenarnya nak bincangkan satu lagi isu ataupun satu lagi persoalan yang mula-mula ditanya pada sidang media di RB High Com tersebut, iaitu apa akan jadi pada Lotus? Patutkah Lotus disimpan dan bagaimanakah pengurusan Lotus patut dilakukan untuk memastikan ia tak lagi menggunakan jumlah pemodalan yang mungkin akan meningkat dalam masa akan datang. Dan kita akan berhenti berehat seketika, kembali selepas ini.
Every Wednesday.
So, Lina, what you doing?
Quick fix here and there.
Wait, seriously, do you even know what you're doing?
Of course I do, Dino. Have faith. Just wait and see.
In Realty, Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. on Astro Awani.
Assalamualaikum. Astro kini mencari mereka yang berkelayakan untuk menyertai kami sebagai personality TV dan radio seperti saya. Tidak kira sama ada anda lelaki atau perempuan, yang penting anda mestilah berusia 18 hingga 30 tahun. Ya, kalau anda berpengetahuan luas, lancar berfikir dan bercakap, lagi bagus. Dan kalau anda berpersonaliti menarik, fasih berbahasa Melayu dan Inggeris, mungkin kerja ini menjadi milik anda.
Bertemu kembali, kita membincangkan tentang pembelian saham Proton bersama dengan Amin Banias Pahamin, Presiden Persatuan Pengedar Proton Edah Malaysia, dan juga Dr. Nazri Khan, Ketua Pendidikan Runcit Afid Investment Bank. Seterusnya, soalan yang paling pertama kita tanya kepada Datuk Seri Kamil Jamil, bahawa apakah yang akan dilakukan kepada Lotus? Adakah akan disimpan dan adakah bagaimanakah corak pengurusan DRB ataupun pendekatan DRB kepada Lotus sendiri? Mungkin Amin ingin mulakan.
Lotus, the Lotus engineering has given Proton a very huge mileage internationally and domestically. Kalau kita tengok Proton, only 26 years old, is basically the youngest in the world that can actually produce a car from a drawing board straight to a car ourselves. But the Proton, being young, I mean, without Lotus, who would want to have that confidence in a new brand? So Lotus have provided Proton a very good mileage internationally. If you sell Proton, I think if you sell Lotus, it would be a loss to Proton.
Tapi dari segi kewangannya sendiri, sebab Lotus menggunakan modal yang cukup tinggi untuk memastikan bahawa ia dapat di-revitalize ataupun dihidupkan semula dan membuat keuntungan pada tahun hujung 2012 kereta pertama barunya akan keluar.
Correct.
Adakah ini satu gambaran yang mungkin positif dari segi dollars and cents? Sebab kita tahu branding dia memang bagus, tak dapat dinafikan. Tapi dari segi dollars and cents, bagaimanakah DRB melihat Lotus kepada komponen Proton itu sendiri?
Saya melihat Rizal, burden, kita panggil financial leverage burden. We need to understand that this whole acquisition, which cost DRB about 1.3 billion ringgit.
Oh, 3 billion kalau dia
without the GO, without the mandatory general offer, it's 1.3 billion. With MGO, it will be 3 billion ringgit, and 95% of this will be funded by Maybank financing. In other words, we expect DRB Hacom leverage to actually bloat from 17% to more than 100%. We believe there is high chances for DRB to actually, maybe if there's an option, to sell Lotus at the right times, so that they can remove these 900 million debts that they need, to not including the 2 billion capex commitment that they need to make until 2015. So I think there are 50-50 chances here for the RB side to actually look at other options, maybe to sell Lotus or that kind of stuff. We need to understand since 1996, Proton have not even made a single cent of profit from Lotus in 1996. And we know Lotus should be on par with Porsche, it should be on par with Ferrari, and I think there is a bigger operating issues here, which involve not only at the franchise level, but maybe more at the strategic relationship between Lotus and Proton.
Okey. Sebelum kita bercakap pasal, sebab kita ada 3 minit lagi, sebab saya nak pecah kepada 2 bahagian. Satu bahagian adalah kita cakap pasal TIV kemudiannya. Tapi saya nak cakap tanya Dr. Nazri dulu tentang harga RM5.50 yang sesaham unit saham yang diberikan oleh DRB kepada Khazanah dalam pembelian tersebut. Adakah harga ini berpatutan dan bagaimana boleh dengan plan Khazanah untuk diversify? Sebab ini ada mungkin sebagai daripada plan Khazanah untuk mengurangkan pegangannya kepada syarikat-syarikat Malaysia. Adakah ini satu langkah yang bijak bagi Proton?
Saya fikir RM5.50 tu harga itu memang sudah lama price in oleh investors. In fact, we think that price is reasonable. You're talking about 20% discount to the forward net tangible asset. Remember, net tangible asset Proton is close to RM8. So we're talking about a huge discount here. I think it's fair because going forward we know that these automotive industries, so many challenging things, in terms of growth prospect and all this. So I think it's definitely is attractive. But again, if you compare to the current price, I think the premium is rather decent to me. It's not even 10%, it's less. I think it's about 6%. So maybe to minority shareholders may not be so good, but I think for the DRB Hacom it is very good.
But there's a lot of different compared to the price that Khazanah bought, right?
Correct, it's very different what Khazanah bought.
Okay, berapa yang harga Khazanah beli? Sebab Nazri Azman nyatakan bahawa harganya bukan RM8. Mungkin secara senang untuk terangkan, mungkin
I think it's rather complex because of course on surface it's RM8 per share, but we need to understand there's a lot of other synergies and benefits that actually Khazanah has made. For example, in terms of tax breaks and all these revaluation surplus they make and that kind of stuff. But bear in mind, we assume here there is no MGO. We believe again DRB Hacom will be exempted from MGO. If there is an MGO, we believe there will be pressure on DRB Hacom because definitely the funding cost will go up apart from the capex.
Okey, kita ada seminit lagi, mungkin setelah 30 soalan. Satu, TIV untuk tahun 2012 2.5% peningkatan daripada tahun 2011, adakah ini dapat dicapai dan apakah cabarannya? Mungkin Amin nak mula dulu 30 saat ya.
My reading is that this year is going to be more tougher than last year. Sebabnya, number one, the HP Act will be fully enforced this year, and the HP Act will affect the ecosystem dari segi used car price, the used car punya price, used car punya SOP to sell. It is more stringent, more tedious. That the price for the second-hand car has reduced substantially because of the HP Act. First, secondly, Bank Negara has made it more stringent for buyer to take up a loan. So you see now, even January itself, 1 month has not, only less than a month in January, rejection rate is already more than 70-80%. So that will be tough for new car sales for this year.
Okay, Dr. Nazri? 3%.
Stock price, I can only comment on stock price.
Okay.
There's a correlation with GDP. We believe first half will be under pressure. Second half, we believe market is going to recover. I think the stock price, especially for Proton, is likely to take a rally on the second half because we believe the economy is likely to slow down on the second quarter this year. But on the third quarter, there's high chances that we may see big coordinated QE in Europe, which is likely to spill over into global automotive sectors. Second half, we definitely overweight, and we believe Proton is likely to recover.
Okay,
so
terima kasih.
Overall, can we achieve?
I think we can achieve by end of this year.
Bagus. Terima kasih Amin Presiden Persatuan Pengedar Proton Edam Malaysia dan juga Dr. Nazri Khan, Ketua Pendidikan Runcit Afia Investment Bank, bincangkan tentang Proton dan juga DRB Highcom dan juga TIV pada tahun 2012. Kita akan berhenti berehat seketika. Selepas ini menjelang pilihan perayaan Tahun Baru Cina.